You're having Thirsty Thursday with your pals the other day.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we're once again hanging out at the Produce Stand, a podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is a three-knuckler. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya, and online we have Squirrely Matt and the virtuous Victor. How are you guys doing today?
Good, and you?
Victor?
How are you now?
Come on, we're 2 seasons in.
Yeah, you think
we just talked about this before the show started, that we fuck up that intro or that
Alan,
hello
you just
every
let
time.
it go. You let it go. You're supposed to get in there.
No, I was waiting for Victor to say how he was doing today too. All right. All right. What are we opening there, Matt?
Oh, it's a fracture kind of day.
Oh, is it a fracture?
It certainly is.
Me too. Wow. Yeah. So we'll start with.
How are you now?
How about how's your week? Let's the lineup for today will be Matt, Tanya, and Victor. So Matt, how was your week?
Week's good. I'll be honest, I'm a little fried and brain fried. That is, it's just been a hell of a month. But today is my youngest son's first birthday, so that was fun. Which means wifey and I spent all day arguing over how to get the best photo of a child. And if anyone's ever tried to take photos of a baby, you know how cooperative they are. So it's been a fun day.
So this will be interesting because usually what happens when, with each subsequent baby, you have fewer photos, fewer videos, So, so this is number 3 for you, but it's number 1 for Jen. So
correct.
She's kind of dragging you along like, I got to.
And it's fun. It's fun, but it's like, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of fried. So it was, it made for some fun moments today, but we got through it. We got some good pictures and, yeah, I mean the little nugget's 1 year old, so it's a lot of fun, and he's a blast. He's a little shit, but he's a blast.
Well, congratulations for not damaging him for having him survive the first year.
Alan and I would high five each other every birthday before bed. We high five each other on their birthday to say we kept them alive one more year.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think it's important to do.
Right?
I think it's
celebrate small wins.
Your mic's cutting in and out quite a bit there, Matt. Are you using the nice mic?
I am.
Oh.
Is it still?
Okay.
It's poppy.
Yeah, it was popping every once in a while.
How's that now?
It seems okay. All right. So Tanya, how was your week?
Busy. I thought on Wednesday, I thought it was Friday. So I'm a little bit topsy-turvy and don't know what's going on anymore.
That'll fuck you up every time.
The week was long. It's just continuous stuff going on. So much stuff. Yeah.
Part of that's my fault, and we'll talk about that in a second. Victor, how was your week?
It's a bit of a tough week. We've got Pumpkin, who's not having a good week. She's 13, and she got her second what is this called, a UTI, urinary tract infection, and her kidneys last time were in first phase or first degree of failure, and now they're in second phase.
Oh no!
So she's right now upstairs, and I don't know who we were trying to console more, my daughter or Pumpkin.
Dear.
So
that's
not going well.
For those listeners who don't know, Pumpkin is Victor's cat. So 13 years old is it's up there for a cat, and
and she's been with us since 5 weeks old. So I mean, and we got her on Thanksgiving evening, and so she's been a big part of our family for a long time, and and so we don't want her to suffer, of course, and so we're just trying to do all the best things for her right now, and she's going to go back to the vet tomorrow, and we'll see where we go from there. But so it's a bit of a tough week. On a brighter note, or less somber note, I was just watching a YouTube video of a guy named David Bennett, and he's the guy that kind of breaks down songs, a little bit nerdy with music theory and whatnot. But this was a fun little video because it was on why does Elton John take 2.5 minutes to get to the chorus. And then just he breaks the song down. The way he opens the video is, he says most songs get to the chorus in the very first minute, and then bam, comes up a meme that says, "Don't bore us, get to the chorus." And so there's the connection to tonight's episode.
Oh my
there you
gosh.
go.
Was it Wayne's voice, or was it just words written?
The words, and then he said it, and it was just like as if he knew we were about to do the show, so he was setting us up. But no connection. He's in the UK. He has no idea what the show is. Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
I don't know. We have a few listeners from the UK. There's the How Women Orgasm. She's from the UK.
Well, then maybe we can ask her if she knows who David Bennett is. But they're, could be neighbors. Anyway, it was actually, I recommend the video is quite fun, and they talk about how he builds up, and actually it's fun to, you never feel bored. And when he finally hits the chorus, it's incredible.
There's another YouTuber, I forget his name, but he's really good. He does some kind of similar things. He analyzes songs and talks about why they're great, what makes them great. I forget his name. I'll have it for next time, but he's got a lot of videos out there, and he dissects songs and from
Rick Beato.
That's it. Rick Beato. Exactly. Yeah. Great videos.
Love the guy.
Yeah.
Love the guy.
So if anyone's a musicologist, you should check out Rick Beato's videos, because when I say he dissects note for note sometimes, and he's like an encyclopedia of musical knowledge.
So a fun little ditty. So he just literally a week before. So he was working on this for several months, but he came out with a video that he was working on for several months, just a few days before Van Halen passed away.
Oh yeah.
And the video was all about what would Stairway to Heaven solo section sound like if Eddie Van Halen played the solo over it. Yeah, and it was incredible.
I'll have to check that out.
So yeah, I recommend you go watch that one. It's pretty cool.
All right. So just my week. Renos continue upstairs, and progress is looking good. I thought I was going to have a lighter week because I spent 3 out of the 5 days 3 out of the 4 days so far this week attending the Adobe Max conference online, of course. So I'm thinking, this is a cakewalk. I'm just going to be sitting here watching webinar after webinar, and they have a impressive lineup of celebrity speakers and stuff. Nick Offerman, Conan O'Brien hosted it. They had Gwyneth Paltrow, they had Wes Anderson, crazy guest speakers. But man, just an entire day of sitting here watching these, from noon to 8 p.m. on some nights. And then today was the last day of it. And because of it, I got I fell behind on work, and I was rushing to get the podcast ready for tonight. So once again, I'm scrambling to get things done, but no excuses. It's still a lot of fun. Learned a lot, and it was a week of development, of professional development. So had a good time.
Cool. Awesome.
All right, let's talk about our new Twitter followers. We have 11 new Twitter followers this week. Nick from Osawatomie, Kansas. Thank you, Nick, for following us. Andy Waddell, Levi Jones, Jacob Wyatt from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Chris Cirrus, Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their spouse, and they're in Utah. Nico Robbins says drink water, also known as All Sunday Jelly. Moo Points, Jackie Koch from somewhere in Canada, SG LaCourse from Sarnia, Ontario, and Dird from Parts Unknown. Thank you all for it's
the perfect one to end on.
Yeah, for following. I don't know if you're listening, but you're following us on Twitter, so we appreciate it. And so here we go.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Last week we reviewed Season 2, Episode 5, Uncle Eddie's Trust. That episode received a clearance rating from Tanya and myself, and a compose from Victor and Matt. And 3 of the 4 folks on Twitter who responded to our scientific Twitter poll agreed with me and Tanya, and the other 1 gave it a compost. This week, and I'm wondering if that one was maybe Matt or Victor. Anyway.
Oh, I'm like 90% sure it was me.
90%. There's only 1 respondent, and if you responded, then you're the guy. This week,
scientific, man.
This week, we recap and review the season finale, season 2, episode 6, called Finding Stormy a Stud. Let's see, Matt, did you do your homework?
I did. I 100% did. Actually, I only did it about 5 minutes ago, to be honest. And it's not without effort.
Oh.
So this week, I made a valiant effort to try to get it done early. But every time I started it, the little guy started running by or something happened.
Oh, okay. So you're going to blame it on the 1-year-old.
Yeah, have you had a 1-year-old? Yeah, you have.
Totally.
They're everywhere.
Is he walking already?
Oh, he's fucking running, man.
Yeah, nice. Tanya, did you do your homework?
Absolutely.
Of course you did. Victor, did you do your homework?
Well, yeah, in spite of you trying your best efforts to get me not to do it, I did do it.
It's not, I wasn't trying to get you not to do it. I was late with my reminder yet again yesterday, and you may have let the cat out of the bag already about how you felt about the episode when I reminded you. But
well, no, even on that, I mean, I won't say what Victor said, but I think we're gonna have some interesting differences in this one.
I hope so. And it's funny because Victor, like, I sent the reminder out pretty late last night again because I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to send the reminder out. Not that you guys need it. I hope you don't need it by now. But anyway, it's kind of like
I need it.
It's part of
these all blur together now.
It's part of my weekly routine. I've got every Monday do this, Tuesday do this, Wednesday I remind everybody. But yeah, Victor kind of let out, whatever, some of his feelings on the episode. And I'm like, Victor, come on. I watched this episode sitting beside my wife. And even I don't know how she feels about it until the day, until we record. So
do you guys sit with like plexiglass between you? While
I'm stone cold. I can totally just like shut off the emotion and just like watch.
She just sits there stone faced and she hates it when I glance over. And I think every once in a while she does let out a giggle. And I bet she's like,
very good at poker. I'm very good.
Maybe you guys should watch it at different times so you don't have that awkwardness.
Yeah, maybe. No, I kind of enjoy it anyway. I mean, because often when I'm watching it with her, that's already like my 4th time watching the episode.
So Tanya's watching and Al's just standing over, breathing heavily.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
He's, we've already had this conversation. He gives me a little smack in the face, make sure that I'm watching it and my eyes are open.
It's the Trump Hillary Clinton scene from their debate.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, here we go. We start with the cold open. The Hicks are hanging out in the tractor shed, talking about Squirrely Dan's 6-year-old cousin Samuel, who Wayne hates, but Samuel loves Wayne. Derry says he saw Samuel do a fun dip dry rip. Wayne doesn't know what that is.
Well, in schneef terms, you do a line of schneef before you've ingested any booze to alter your judgment. It's called doing a dry rip.
Or rips in a dry one.
Doing dry rips is a pretty good indication you got a schneef problem.
You got yourselves a schneef issue.
Well, you've ever done a dry rip?
Well, back in the day.
In the glory days.
Yeah, I done dry rip.
I'd have ripped a dry one.
Not sure if ripping a fun dip dry rip would have the same effect, but doing it is still a pretty good indication you got some sort of problem.
Squirrely Dan says that if dry ripping isn't a sign that you have a problem, hooping certainly is.
Well, what's hooping?
Well, that's instead of taking the drugs oralies or intranasales, you take them analies.
What the fuck are you talking about now?
Well, instead of down the hatch or up the nose, take them in the pooper.
Will you put drugs up your pooper?
That's the fastest way to absorb them into your systems.
Do you mean like you take the drugs with your hand? Well, then you put them up your pooper?
Correct.
But you don't poop them out.
No, your pooper absorbs them.
Isn't that curious?
Hooping fun dip definitely wouldn't have the same effect as hooping schneef. But doing it is still probably a pretty good indication you got some sort of problem.
So I love it whenever Wayne is trying to process something and if it's disturbing to him, he says it and then he blinks like 2 or 3 times and then he repeats it. So you take it in your hand, blink, 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 and you put it up in your put it up your bum, blink, 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 and you don't poop it out. It's hilarious.
He's so deep in thought.
He's like processing it. The Hicks then go on to talk about fun dip dick dingers. And if you don't remember what a dick dinger is, I suggest you go back to episode 1, season 1. I'm not going to describe it. Just look it up. Squirrely Dan then, after all this fun dip talk, finally comes to a disturbing revelation about his 6-year-old cousin.
Oh, wait. If Samuel's already been taking fun dips, oralies, and intranasales.
Yeah, we should probably go check on Samuel.
And the theme music starts. All right, so
you know what's funny about that? I missed the whole part that it was a 6-year-old. So the whole scene just became a whole lot funnier.
Oh, you didn't know? No, they're talking about.
I had no idea either.
Everybody's like, I fucking hate Samuel. I'm like, I figured it was like an older cousin or something. I just caught it now that he was 6.
Oh my God, same. I hated that opening because I didn't understand what was happening. I just knew that Squirrely Dan was funny in his delivery. But aside from that, I had no idea what was going on.
Oh, you're taking the fun dip intranasales. I mean, fun dip. Come on. It's the sugary stuff that you had when as a kid. So 6-year-old was snorting it. And then, Yeah,
I 100% wanted to stop and go get a fun dip. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, same.
Not for hooping though.
So Matt, that opening, you didn't know it was a 6-year-old. So what did you think of the open?
Oh, I still loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah. There was some fun Squirrely Dan moments for sure. Tanya, what did you think of that cold open?
Well, I did have you put it on pause for a second because I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. I did catch the whole birthday part, like birthday 6-year-old. I did catch that one, but I was like, what are they talking about? Like, what is the schneef that they're talking, or schnort, whatever the heck it's called?
Schneef.
I wasn't getting what they were referencing because I kept on thinking, I was hearing dry rip. I'm thinking they were talking farts. I'm like, dry farts. Okay. I'm like, wet farts and dry. I'm like, wait a second. No, that's not it. So after that momentary pause, it was, it was good.
Victor, what did you think?
I didn't like it for all the same reasons that Tanya just basically described. I had no idea what was going on. I totally missed the part about him being 6 years old. So all I knew was that, like, okay, when are we going to get to the next scene? Because for me, it felt like a SNL skit that was going too long. I probably used that reference before, but it just didn't work for me at all because I was lost, and I didn't pause it to try and figure it out, but I just kind of felt that I shouldn't have to.
Whenever they get into the whole schneef thing, it's a little boring for me too. I don't find the drug stuff funny, but for the most part, some things are funny. I mean, the whole idea that they're talking about a 6-year-old with a fun dip problem is funny, and Squirrely,
now it is.
Yeah, and Squirrely Dan's reactions and wording of taking it intranasally and stuff. That's all funny, but. They do kind of beat this dead horse a bit in this episode. All right, we go to scene 1. Katie's arriving at the dollar store. She notices a poster and snaps a picture of it with her phone. It turns out it's an ad for a talent and model search. Next scene, back at the produce stand, Derry asks Wayne if he's got any dates lined up for the week. Wayne says he's taking a break from dating. His more pressing priority is to find his dog Stormy a stud. Stormy is, by all accounts, a beautiful dog.
She's a beautiful dog.
Oh, she's a real beauty.
Well, she's a gorgeous dog. She just tries to kill her studs is the thing.
Well, that's my girl.
So in order to get to the bottom of things, Squirrely Dan has a suggestion.
Maybe you should take her in for a fingers in the bum.
Are you fucking preoccupied?
That's only the answer sometimes.
Squirrely Dan working squirrely OT.
Not all the time.
Just the checks.
Sometimes.
Are you fucking preoccupied?
Doesn't matter what you takes her in for. As sure as a bush is going to break your fall, Stormy's going to get some fingers in the bum.
Squirrely Dan says she should at least get 3 knuckles, which starts the Hicks on an argument as to how many knuckles people actually have.
Oh, see, now that's too many.
Is not.
Well, a person's got 2 knuckles, so you're saying that the vet would have to fire 3 knuckler up Stormy's bum to get to the bottom of it?
A person has 3 knuckles.
Oh, a person has 2 knuckles. Figure it out.
Person has 3 knuckles. You figure it out.
A person's got 2 knuckles, okay? 1, 2.
3. You forgot about the little knuckles underneath the fingernails.
Well, see, no, that's not a knuckle, though, Dan. To be a knuckle, you got to be able to punch somebody with. You can't punch somebody with knuckle underneath the fingernail, can you?
Can't you?
Well, you'd be looking pretty fucking silly.
First knuckle, 1 knuckler. Second knuckle, 2 knuckler. Third knuckle, 3 knuckler.
So, Matt, where do you stand on knuckles? How many knuckles do people have?
Well, it's 3.
Yeah. So, okay.
I think it was back when Jen and I watched this the first time around. We had a whole discussion about this and then Googled the shit out of it because I'm like,
Really?
you know what?
That's not
I'm
worth
actually
the
not
Google.
Well, and I'll tell you why, because I actually wasn't sure after listening to it what the actual knuckle constitutes or what constitutes a knuckle.
Right.
I'm like, is it the bone or is it the joint?
Yeah. Well, according to Wayne, you have to be able to punch somebody with it to be a knuckle.
I mean, that's just Wayne logic, but like that's not medical logic.
No.
But I mean, in the end, it's the joint. So when I look at my hand, I see 3 joints in the finger. If you count the end. So 3.
Yeah, except for the thumb.
And if you punch somebody with your foot, it is the knuckle. It is the knuckle that Wayne wants to dismiss that would make contact first.
Well, hey, if you punch somebody with your foot, you're actually kicking them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you say punch someone with your foot?
No, I said punch. If you curl your toes to make it like a fist and try to punch somebody with it, it would be actually the very first knuckle.
Hold on,
that
Victor.
Wayne is dismissing that makes contact first.
But Victor, let's just be clear. You said if you were to punch someone with your foot.
That's right. I
Plus,
didn't say that.
your toes only have 1 knuckle.
No, your toes has 3 knuckles. Listen, I just
really. I'm looking at my foot right now, and I only see 1, or maybe 2 if you count.
You're looking wrong. Listen,
You're looking wrong.
I stabbed my second my pointer finger from.
Careful how you finish this sentence.
Just settle down.
This is public.
Yeah. So I stubbed my pointer finger on my foot a couple of years ago, and the second knuckle of the 3 knuckles, the one in the middle, no longer bends. So that's okay. I'm okay with that because it doesn't need. It's aesthetic, right?
It's aesthetic.
But the first knuckle and the last knuckle still bend, so I don't have trouble putting on socks and putting on shoes because it still bends accordingly. It just bends differently. But the second one is it doesn't bend. It's just there. It's stuck. It's stuck. It maybe needs to be oiled. I don't know. But all to say is that out of the 3 knuckles on my toe, finger toe, or whatever we want to call it.
Finger toe.
There's so many references here.
You do know the difference between a foot and a hand, right?
What's going on? We're flip-flopping so much. I feel like I'm watching the show all over again.
I'm looking at my foot right now, and I only see 2 knuckles. I think we need to move on.
Okay, wait.
You might be both different.
If Victor gets to share his broken story about fingers or toes, I'm not quite sure which one he was talking about. But I have to share. Okay, so I broke my ring finger knuckle, middle one.
On your foot?
I'm going to say the middle one, the main knuckle. No, I broke it on a balloon of all things. Right? No, I see your face, Matt. So
that's 10 ply.
Right?
That's 10 ply.
I'll bite. Wait, what?
On a balloon. I know. Talent. That was super talented. It was a Jack and Jill that we had blown up, 50 balloons, and they were all on the dance floor. And after consuming some alcohol, I decided that the balloons were scattering out of the dance floor area and needed to be hit back in. So I did open my legs and started paddling the balloons through my legs back into the doggy style, kind of batting them back in. And I got a little too excited, and I hit my finger against my knee and whipped my finger backwards.
It wasn't against the balloon; it was against your knee. But
caused by balloon.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's fair, right?
Oh my!
It happens. It happens.
You should have just said I was drinking, and I was drinking, and I broke my finger.
I should just start there.
All right. Let's see. The conversation. The conversation among the Hicks goes on about 6 knucklers, and that's when Gail appears out of nowhere to give her 2 cents. If 6 knuckler existed, she'd know about it. Gail says she's got a stud for Stormy from the Baumgartner breeders. The stud's name is Ken, as in former Maple Leafs enforcer Ken Baumgartner. Victor, I thought you'd be all over this conversation here.
It was a distraction because I was trying to make the connection. I'm thinking, are they talking about the real Ken Baumgartner, or is there like some dog? And that's so I was just, that got me a little confused. And then later they introduced Buckburger, which made it even more confusing.
Wayne
Because
said,
I'm thinking for sure there's a hockey connection here, but I think it was just.
well, there maybe the Baumgartners are breeders. Who knows? But when I heard it, I'm like, oh, Victor must be loving this. All these hockey references. Wayne says you're not exposed to give dog human names. So I've noticed this before, but I didn't know whether it was just in passing or by accident. But yeah, instead of saying supposed, he says exposed every time. Like,
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So Wayne says you're not exposed to give dogs human names. Gail sells Wayne on her stud. She's got him in the truck. So Wayne agrees, tells Gail to pull around back, see if they'll have a go. Wayne and Gail leave, and Derry asks Squirrely Dan if he wants to know how he knows about 6 knucklers. That's Katie's cue to leave. But Squirrely Dan's all ears.
Sorry, before we jump on, I maybe it's just me and I laugh at the dumbest shit, but that scene, I mean, I like that scene, but the funniest part to me was the very end. And if you notice what happened when they said, you know, go get your stud, Gail danced away, running in behind the produce stand, and then vanished. And then even Squirrely Dan sort of looked over his shoulder, like, where the fuck did she go?
Yeah. It was weird.
Like,
it was weird because she appeared from behind the produce stand, and then you're right. It was almost like you're watching a stage play, and that was like exit stage left and enter stage left.
Or there's a portal. There's a portal back.
Because there's no truck. Like there's a field behind there. So where's her truck? Yeah.
But Squirrely Dan's acknowledgement was the best, because he kind of looked over like, where the hell did this lady go?
Yeah, there's a little bit of the breaking the fourth wall every once in a while with that.
Yeah.
Where did I leave off? Here we go. Scene 3. Next scene. At the hockey rink, Riley and Jonesy run into Coach. They find out the coach has left the junior team and has joined the senior team as the new bench boss. His first order of business is to get on Jonesy and Riley's case.
Turns out you guys have been having a bit of a cakewalk up here, huh? Is that right, Riley? Hey, little angel cake? Little angel food cake with a top glaze? Huh? Have your mom mix up the egg whites and the vanilla? Huh? Have your mom cut it with a knife or a small spatula through the batter, releasing air bubbles and bake? Light as air? Huh? Virtually fat-free? Fuck you, pheasant!
Come on, man.
Oh, Josie's got something to say. What kind of cake are you walking, huh? A little Lady Baltimore? Huh? A little Dayton walnut loaf? A little Napoleon shat?
The cakewalk is over. And it's all because Jonesy and Riley have been skipping leg day.
You think you can skirt legs and crack the Czech Extra Liga? Huh? You couldn't even crack the Hockey Allsvenska, let alone the Deutsch Ice Hockey Liga! Fuck! You plugs are gonna learn some jam. It is fucking embarrassing!
I love Coach.
So all of those things he was rhyming off are European hockey leagues.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, one of them sounded like a league, so I figured the rest of them were too.
Because he said the word Liga, but they're all they are all different European. They're professional European leagues like the NHL. They're just much lesser quality. Yeah.
All right. Jonesy and Riley are so scared that they want to skip Pracky. And they're so upset that they don't even want to crush Sandoz. Then they have this tender moment where they don't know what to do. Yeah, it was an awkward, tender moment where they kind of hold hands and then they hug.
They just love each other so much.
Yeah, but they don't know how or why.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
They're leaving the rink. They leave the rink depressed, with heads hung low, and run into Pastor Glenn, who for a moment, Pastor Glenn appears angelic to them in their time of need. But then the trance lifts when Glenn speaks, reassuring the boys that he's there for a normal reason. He never says why, but he just happens to be at the hockey rink. Let's see. Next scene, at the Skids' lair. Stuart is still depressed about Katie. Devin and Roald are trying to cheer him up with a little karaoke, but Stuart only wants to sing dark, sad songs. They finally find a song Stuart will sing, but he's just interested in staring at pictures of Katie on his phone. Next scene, back at the produce stand.
This gets worse before it gets better, cowboy.
Did she?
Stormy tried to kill Ken Baumgartner.
Well, that's my girl.
Baumgartners aren't gonna be too jazzed about this. Guess we could try his brother Nolan.
Nolan Baumgartner.
Yeah.
Kate.
No more Baumgartners.
It's not the Baumgartners, it's Stormy. Fucking shithead.
Yeah.
Hey, she's a shithead, don't fucking say it to her face. I'll say it to fucking your face. fucking rip open her face, take out her eye sockets, get right in there, tell it to her fucking frontal lobe. Fuck.
That's too nice a day to get cross.
So I've figured Gail out. She is an 8-year-old boy trapped in a grown woman's body.
8? I'd put her more around 13.
No, not 13.
13,
No,
14.
she's aggressive and she's foul mouthed. And if you notice later on in the scene when she runs like an 8 or 9 year old boy.
Oh, true that.
Like she runs like arms flailing and legs all over the place. It's pretty funny.
But sorry, I got to do a quick sidebar here when we were talking about the dog. So yesterday, I have a 105-pound cane Corso named Ollie is our dog. The guy in our basement lives in our basement has a Boston Terrier, and a friend of his has a Chihuahua. So we're outside yesterday, and this Chihuahua shows up to visit, and the Boston runs over to it, all excited while my dog decides to get just as excited and like a goddamn bowling ball plows through this Chihuahua, who's on a leash, by the way, throws this thing, I kid you not, at least 6 feet into the goddamn air.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was have you ever been wakeboarding? You ever seen wakeboarding have that high rope on the back of a boat?
Yeah.
I think it was kind of it was a combination of this thing jumping to get out of the way of my dog, it running into it, and then the owner pulling the dog's leash, pulled this thing at least 6 feet in the air.
Yikes.
I have not laughed that hard in the dog was fine. Don't get me wrong. The dog was fine, but it was something out of ridiculousness, and I wish I had it on camera. I had to share that.
Yeah. Sounds fun. So Gail suggests that they try a sedative. This sends Squirrely Dan into a rage. This is what they were talking about in his women's study class. They'd have a field day with this.
Professor Trisha would literally shit a brick.
What's wrong with you?
I'm very upset.
Sort yourself out.
Gail just said she wants to roofie Stormy.
No, I didn't.
Doesn't sound like she did.
If you want to give Stormy drugs to the points of impairments so that Ken Baumgartner's can have his filthy sex with her, well, then that is...
Don't say it. We get it.
I love that. And now that makes sense about there's one of our Twitter followers, Professor Trish would shit a brick. That's their Twitter name. And I get it now. I didn't get it before. I get it now. Thank you for that. Gail takes exception to Squirrely Dan implying she wants to carpet Stormy. Sounds to Squirrely Dan like she wants to rope Stormy. Wayne's just confused with all this terminology. Katie explains.
What the actual fuck are you two talking about?
Carpet and rope are slang for roofies. Every drug has like a million different words. Name one.
Marijuana.
Dutch.
Keith.
Dank.
Assassin youth.
Okay.
Name another.
Cocaine.
Uptown.
Nose beers.
Sugar sugar.
Stripper salt.
Outstanding.
Name another.
No, I get it.
Gail gets a text. She's got another stud for Stormy. While she goes to get the stud, Wayne goes off to run Stormy. It might help with a little exercise, discipline, and affection in that order. Derry tells Squirrely Dan that another name for ecstasy is dancing shoes because it makes him want to dance. And of course, that's Katie's cue to exit once again. Squirrely Dan admits ecstasy makes him want to hug.
I get real huggy when I'm on the ecstasies.
Ecstasy bear.
Something about that drug, you know. You just want to reach around and enjoy the tactile sensations that make up this fabulous world.
Wide worldy bear.
I just want to hold people.
Just want to hold people. Oh, man. Next scene. The scene cuts
God,
to...
I love Squirrely Dan.
Yeah, he's great. Scene cuts, even when he's talking about doing the most horrible things, it's funny because it's coming from Squirrely Dan.
Right?
And then do you think that the women's study class that he's taking is maybe court ordered or
The sensitivity training?
Yeah, I don't know.
One would have to suspect so.
Next scene. The scene cuts to Pastor Glenn at Super Scoops getting really nasty with a popsicle. Riley and Jonesy are with him.
That was bad. Can we just say that was terrible? 2 popsicles. Just weird.
Wasn't it a freezy and a popsicle?
Yeah, he was double fisting. He asks them how he can help them.
Rock bottom, boys. Rock bottom, Ferda.
Boys, you know, I think that there is a reason why you found me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were waiting for us. You're kind of right by the door.
Okay. I think there's a reason that y'all found me, okay? You found me because you need guidance. you're lost, nowhere to turn. And do you know what I say to those who need guidance? Do you know what I say to those who are lost, who have nowhere to turn? I say turn to him.
Turn to who?
God.
Can't we just talk to you, buddy?
Yeah, talk to God.
Well, why do we have to talk to God? Why can't we just talk to you? You're right here.
I understand, but we're all saying the same thing. I'm here. I'm the one. I'm a conduit. I'm the messenger that talk to me. I'm your spiritual counselor. Okay, you can talk to me.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Sick, buddy.
All right.
To get to the root of their problem, Pastor Glenn asked them where their problems began. The hockey players admit their problems began when they lost Katie. So Pastor Glenn gives them some advice.
I want you to think about this. I want you to hear this, and I want you to think about it. I want you to think about how many fish there are in the sea, because there's a lot of them. A lot of fish in the sea, and there's a lot of fish on menus. Most often, good restaurants have a lot of fish on them. I want you to think, look at this menu. Have I tried all this fish? Have I thought, do I want fish? Oh, what's this? Oh, this is a shellfish. That looks like calamari. I want to try that.
Oh, you mean like our big city slams?
I guess we call it for big city slams, bro.
I didn't mean that at all, but fine. Do whatever you want. Go ahead.
And Jonesy and Riley run off to call their big city slams. Next scene, back at the farm, Gail arrives with a stud. This one is from the Buckburger breeders. The dog's name is Kelly, as in Kelly Buckburger. You want to regale us, Victor? Who's Kelly Buckburger? What team did he play for? Do you remember?
I think he played for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I feel like he did too.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Wayne tells her to pull around back and see if they'll have a go. Gail gives Wayne a warning.
Gotta say, Wayne, doesn't work out with Kelly Buckburger. You're approaching the bottom of the well.
Oh, bother.
Oh, sure, you had a winner in Ken Baumgartner.
Could always use brother Nolan Baumgartner.
If you don't want us to date,
I've had just about enough of that talk, Gail.
if you pass a knuckle or two up the bum,
It'll take 3 knuckles to get to the bottom of this.
I'd say Stormy's just not fit for breeding.
But she's a beautiful dog.
She's such a beautiful dog.
A real beauty.
She's a gorgeous dog.
Yeah, but she keeps on trying to kill her studs.
Well, pitter patter.
Wayne and Gail go off to try to breed Stormy. Next scene, outside the hockey rink.
I hate to see Wayne so sad.
I know, right? He's so sad. He lives and dies with his dogs.
It's like, yeah, he's so just beaten down right there over his poor dog. Poor guy.
Outside the hockey rink, Riley and Jonesy are waiting for someone. Pastor Glenn is with them, inexplicably. Katie comes out of the arena with someone from the talent search. He says he wants to sign her, but she has to go to the city because he really can't do anything with her in Letterkenny. Riley and Jonesy say hi to Katie, who actually seems happy to see them, but then the hockey players' big city slams arrive, and so Katie walks off. Next scene, back at the farm, Gail arrives running like an 8-year-old boy. This is where I made that connection. I'm like, look at her run. I've seen like 8-year-old boys run like that, and then it all makes sense. She says she's got the perfect stud for Stormy. Her cousin from Tobermory has a dog that's different.
This dog is different. Strong, silent type. Hard worker, no bullshit. Fuck, I'd do him.
Sounds like a good guy.
Sounds like a real good guy.
Probably a real good guy.
Sounds like the dog was Wayne, the way she described him. Gail's cousin is coming up later with the stud. The Hicks discuss what they'll do until then. And so then Derry starts reminiscing about back in the day.
Well, you know, back in the day.
Back in the glory days.
We'd do some sneef.
You want to know what? I feel like you've been working your way towards this for about 6 weeks.
Been a long, long time since I've hoovered some schneef.
Because you're fucking DJing when you did, Dan.
I was skinny.
And here's another thing. You shouldn't call it schneef anymore. I think you should call it schneff.
Why?
It's funnier. Well, I think. It's kind of like that word queef. So you can have a lot of fun with that word queef. But what's funnier, well, I think, is the word quiff.
I could hoover a bit of schneef.
Schneff.
You ever hoovered backseat schneef?
Schneff.
I've hoovered schneef off the headrest of a Pontiac racer traveling to Sarsfest.
Ever hoovered backstage schneef?
I've hoovered schneef off of Jan Arden's charcuterie board.
I'd have a beer.
Yeah. Next scene, the Skids hideout. The Skids are still trying to get Stuart out of his funk. They even break out the original NES. It doesn't work though. Stuart is still sad. So sad, in fact. He asks about playing Super Mario Brothers 2. Finally understanding Stuart's pain, Devin finally agrees to help him get Katie back. They have a group hug and Rold presses his NES zapper into Devin's back. Next,
We think, allegedly.
no, he admits to it. That's not my zapper.
Yeah.
What is an NES zapper? Am I just feeling really
It's
stupid
the
right
duck hunt gun.
now? Oh, okay. I didn't know it was called a zap.
Yeah. They didn't call it a gun because it was marketed for kids.
Come on, get with the 90s, man.
Yeah, come on, man. The 90s.
Listen,
Try the 80s.
Listen, I killed duck hunt. I didn't know it was called. I called it a gun.
Yeah. Next scene, Riley and Jonesy are hanging out, talking about how much they miss Katie, even though they've just been with their big city slams, as Pastor Glenn, who is still hanging out with them, reminds them. Then he bestows them some wisdom.
Boys, if I'm Katie, I don't want to date you.
Bro.
Just saying. And if I'm Wayne, I don't want you dating my sister.
I think I know what he means, buddy.
But you don't.
I think I get it, bro.
You definitely don't.
We need to go through Wayne to get to Katie.
Okay, I can work with that. Maybe we're onto something.
We need to beat the shit out of Wayne to get to Katie.
Okay, you don't. You lost me again.
Beat the shit out of Wayne for the Katie cat. For the Katie cat. Ninja dust!
And they run off. Next scene is a musical montage while Pastor Glenn is saying the Lord's Prayer. It shows Wayne and Stormy waiting for her next suitor, Stuart getting ready to try to win Katie back, Katie packing her bag for the city, and Riley and Jonesy working on their legs. And then the next scene, we're back at the produce stand. The Hicks are still talking about the different ways Squirrely Dan has hoovered Schneef. Wayne comes out with beer. Riley and Jonesy arrive for their Tilly.
It's fucking Tilly time, boys.
Go grab a rake and tidy that gravel you've upset.
Are you fucking deaf, Hick? Let's have a Tony, Brooke.
That tone's unhelpful.
Time's off.
Now, as I recall, that's your ritual before a fight. My patience is wearing thin, so I'll ask. Are you fucking high?
No. We want Katie back. We'll go through you to get her.
Unnecessary as of 5 minutes ago, but as of right this second, you should make sure your shoelaces are tight.
Bye, Katie.
What does that have to do with anything?
During the standoff, Katie can be seen in the background getting into the car with the town scout from the city. The Skids arrive on their BMXs.
I've come to reclaim the Lady Kate. Fuck you, pheasant! You waited a long time to fight, you pheasant. Ready to defend?
So there's a line? If so, I'm budging.
We should break Dan's fight. It's safer, and I'll win.
Too much talking.
Shall we?
Oh shit, I actually do need to tie my shoelaces.
What the fuck is that?
What?
I don't know. Squirrely Dan gets really wound up before a fight. So
no idea what he said.
No idea. I should have turned on the captions to see what he says because I have no idea either. During this whole standoff, Katie's already left for the city. She's already gone, so there's not even a reason for them to fight. But and then just then, a black pickup pulls up at the end of the laneway. Gail's cousin Rosie, played by the lovely. That's what I was looking for, that word. Clark Bacco. She's been in Supernatural, Designated Survivor. Emerges from the truck. She grabs Wayne's attention immediately as the scene switches to slow motion and the music changes from aggressive fight music to Wayne's in love music. Rosie opens her passenger side door and out comes her stud. Wayne no longer sees anyone else and walks towards Rosie, shoving rolled out of his way like an annoying mosquito. And Gail introduces them.
Wayne, this is my cousin.
What's your cousin's name, Gail?
Rosie.
Rosie, how are you now?
Good, and you?
I'm not so bad.
Should I pull around back and see if they'll have a go?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Pitter patter.
Wayne actually even cracks a smile. And then, out of nowhere, Angie appears.
Wayne,
Yeah?
I want you back.
Oh.
And then Wayne's phone rings. It's Tanis.
Wayne,
Yeah?
I'm pregnant.
Oh. Oh, fuck.
And we fade to black. And that's the end of season 2. So let's start with initial thoughts. No ratings yet. Matt, we'll start with you.
Like I said, I think we're gonna get a mix in this one.
Oh, okay.
I I mean, I'll be honest, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, I think we saw, what I'll say is I think we saw some of the best in some of the characters in this episode.
Okay.
I mean, the whole story with the, oh my God, the hockey players there, I'm totally blanking on their name, Riley and Jonesy. Those two, like, I thought we saw a lot more to them, and I enjoyed their interaction with Pastor Glenn through the whole thing.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. I thought the episode as a whole connected to each other, like all the different elements of it all connected.
Yeah.
And I also think it tied back to what we talked about being the theme of the season. So all in all, I mean, I genuinely enjoyed this episode.
Okay. Tanya?
It was okay. It wasn't, I found it really jumpy. I found that they really went from scene to scene, and it was just a whirlwind. It kind of felt like Whiplash a bit of,
Really?
Yeah. Like I felt like there was no, I don't know. It wasn't smooth enough for me, but I did find myself laughing out loud on quite a few of those jokes, and yeah, so it was good.
Interesting. Victor? And by the way, Victor's background today is a train wreck, literally.
He's lost his simulator.
Yeah.
I know I selected that image strategically.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure
I'm glad you picked up on it.
Yeah.
So if you could take the last, I guess, 2 minutes of that episode and give that a beginning and an end, I'd say it was gold. That aside, to take 28 minutes to get to the last two, whatever the episode is, to take 98% of the episode to get to the last 2%, for me was a bit of a struggle. So let me preface this by saying, number one, we're just a bunch of guys talking about the show. It takes a lot of effort and talent and genius to put this thing on the way that they do. They're awesome. They're super talented.
Yes.
We all love them for giving us this show. So, take our opinions and ratings for what they are.
Yeah.
We're just having fun with it. So that aside, it was the first episode that I felt that if it wasn't for the purpose of having this get together today,
sure,
I don't know that I could have finished that. I'm glad that I did for the payoff at the end, but it was a real struggle for me to sit through that episode. So I can get into it later, but that's my initial thought.
Yeah, and I gathered that from your comment when I asked you when I sent the reminder out saying, "Did you do your homework?" and said, "I forget what your exact words were, but basically, yeah, I'm surprised I was able to finish that or something like that." It was to that effect.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, so yeah, I figured that was going to be your take today.
Yeah, and we can break it down. I just
sure. And we will. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm probably going to align with Victor, except not quite as low. So basically, if it weren't for that last scene, this episode would have been a compost for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Al, I thought you'd be more aligned with me, but I guess not.
I know. And the drug stuff wasn't funny to me. It wasn't very funny to me. Like those individual scenes were saved by Squirrely Dan, not by the dialogue. The dialogue itself was kind of not great. Tanya, I hear what you're saying about, kind of like jumping from story to story, but it is a season finale. So I think,
they're trying to fit too much. They're trying to fit all of it in for that end 2 minutes, but
I think they're trying to hit every single group because it is a season finale. And going back and forth, I'm with Matt. I like the Riley and Jonesy kind of arc there. I loved the ending. I loved the ending. So that saved it from being a compost. And we won't get into ratings yet, but yeah, the drug stuff just wasn't very funny to me. And again, like the only thing that saved those scenes were were Squirrely Dan. I mean, Victor, what did you think of Pastor Glenn? Because for the last little while, he's been kind of saved for you. Like you didn't like him at first, and then you loved him. What did you?
For me, his the peak for Pastor Glenn was the dating game. Like
Sure.
for me, that was just the writing of that episode was just so brilliant.
Yeah, I agree.
His timing, his placement, his purpose for existing was that episode. I mean, like it was just everything. All the stars came.
But I thought he was really good in this one. He wasn't very creepy in this one. Like he wasn't overly. He was.
I don't have a problem with Pastor Glenn.
Yeah.
I had a problem with the script. I just didn't like. If we just break down very quickly, like the cold open just wasn't funny for me. It was the out of all the episodes we've seen so far, nothing comes close to from any other episodes to this one in terms of how ineffective for me it was.
Right.
And again, it's also the drug stuff. It's not the prudishness, right? It's not that drugs. It just wasn't funny. That's
it was
all.
just kind of flogging a dead horse.
So and then none of the story, like there's always at least one storyline in all of the other episodes that is intriguing and fun and interesting and whatnot. For me, none of the storylines were interesting. The dog story wasn't interesting. The Pastor Glenn hockey players, like that, just even the way that scene was introduced with the coach being all mean to them. That part, it just wasn't funny. Like it didn't grab me, and then it just didn't get better. And Pastor Glenn was fine. I just didn't find it funny. At no point was I ever laughing or intrigued by it. And then what was the other storyline? There's always with the skids. Again, just it was all right. It's not that it was bad. It just wasn't funny. Like nothing was funny.
No part of the skids as well. I mean, the amusing part of the skids story was just their indignance when Stuart asked about Super Mario 2 because they had just finished. They finished 1. They were almost done 3. They purposely didn't mention 2 because 2 is like not like if anyone's a video gamer, you don't talk about Super Mario 2. But
and that was fun. But it was just too gimmicky.
Yeah.
Like that little bit was fun, but it didn't add anything to the
suffering
overall
here.
episode.
Okay, Matt, have your
and just one final thing. I'll let you guys talk. I didn't get the part about the logic of having to beat up Wayne to get to. I didn't get that. Like I just felt that was like what?
Well, but
what?
That's
dumb
just how those hockey players think. Like
they're just
doesn't
being
make them
dumb.
right.
Yeah.
They're just idiots.
Pastor Glenn.
But it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, of course not. It's Riley and Jonesy. Pastor Glenn was trying.
They do make sense.
Pastor Glenn was trying to tell them that the way they act and stuff is the reason Katie doesn't like them, and Wayne wouldn't want them to date his sister, but they took it the wrong way, and yeah.
Oh, might I just insert a funny here? Because I wanted to say,
please.
Our daughter listened to a video, and I was making dinner, and it was Duck Duck Goose, and Jonesy and Riley have wrecked Duck Duck Goose for me because all I saw was them getting farted on in their face. So just wanted to say that.
Matt, try to save this. Try to save it.
So I'll defend an episode when I enjoy it. And listen, I hear what you guys are all saying. And I'll be honest, the only comment I agree with is Al around the overusage, I think, of the drug topic, which didn't bother me, to be honest, but it did get drawn out of it. But that said, I mean, I like movies, like music, all this, but there's nothing else. I'm eclectic when it comes to these things. So I like a variety. I'll watch horror, I'll watch comedy, I'll watch action, I'll watch drama, but as long as it's good. And yes, Letterkenny is a comedy first and foremost. Was this the funniest episode? By no means. No.
Not by a long shot. No.
But did I enjoy it? Yes, I thought it all made sense. Like and you're saying about storylines, it did connect. I mean, we watched some of the other episodes, and like when they jump between the different groups, the stories didn't even come close to making sense to each other. Yeah. These ones, I mean, we talked about the theme in the very first episode, the finding love. This episode was all about finding love, even if you want to stretch it out a bit, you know. Stuart wanting to regroup, the guys wanting to get back with Katie as well. Even the damn dog trying to find the stud for the dog was a big, it was the same idea, was all there, and it all made sense to me. So it didn't make me drop to the floor laugh. No, but I thought it all made sense. I thought it connected really well. The writing it could have been a little stronger, right? Some of those scenes were drawing out a bit. Drawing is not a word, we know this. But I liked it, and I was enjoying it, and I felt like it connected on a lot of levels. So I disagree with most of what you guys are saying in this one.
No, I mean, you're right. The storylines did culminate, and the 4 different storylines in this episode ended up in one place at the end, which, it ended up with the Skids trying to get Katie back for Stuart. It ended up with the hockey players trying to win Katie back. And for sure. For me, it was just a little, it wasn't funny enough. It wasn't the strongest writing. And for a season finale, I kind of expect like the season finale for season 1 was a great finale.
Yes,
start to finish.
I'll give you that one. I will agree with that.
This one so far, and so we've only had 2. This one here, not great. And I can even make the argument that I made in episode 1 of season 1, where this finale, the cliffhanger was again kind of tacked on at the end. Like it almost wasn't earned. It was earned in the sense that throughout this whole season, Wayne was finding love, but after all he went through, she just appeared. Like, Rosie appears in the last 2 minutes of the episode, and you know what I mean, and you get a cliffhanger. So
I feel the tone of this show, though. Everything's so forced and intentional.
Yeah.
Even the way think of how the way Wayne stands up. It's so boom to the point.
Yeah.
So that's how the show works. When it makes a point, it just jabs you in the face with it, and that's the point.
Yeah,
I feel like the cliffhanger in this episode was a reward for those who were able to hang in there.
Wow. Okay, tell us how you really think. Actually, I already did. Matt, we're going to start with you with ratings. Do you give this one a fresh, clearance, or compost?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be the lone wolf on this one. But like I said, I don't always need to laugh. But if you can keep me interested and give me a story, I'm still going to love it. And I gave this one a fresh.
Really?
Awesome. You know what? And here's the thing. I don't need to laugh to really enjoy a show. Case in point, Afterlife. Ricky Gervais. If you've never seen it,
love it.
Love it. It's so fucking depressing, but it's a comedy. And so when it's funny, it's really funny because the lows are so low.
That's a comedy?
Yeah. Well,
it's brilliant.
It's a dark comedy.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
it's dark comedy, but it's also heartfelt comedy.
Yeah,
it's a genius show.
I love it. Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah,
So fresh for Matt. Tanya, what's your rating?
I'm really sitting on the fence between clearance and compost.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That ending didn't save it for you?
It did. Okay, clearance.
Wow, twist your arm there, Al.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. All right.
It's been a long week. I'm tired. Just
all right.
Rip it off.
Yeah. Victor?
There's the Band-Aid.
What's your rating?
I give it a compost, and I give it a compost not because the episode wasn't funny. I give it a compost because the episode wasn't written well. They're such incredible writers, and they're so smart. I just want more from them on a season finale. And it just, the fact that I literally, like, honestly, like I'm very easy to please when it comes to TV shows. I don't have such high standards.
Yeah.
I watch King of Queens and all kinds of stuff. So I'm Two Broke Girls. That's awful show.
Come on, that was a good show.
No, it was pretty awful.
Yeah,
it had moments.
It had moments.
It had,
like I said, I'm not difficult to please. This episode, I felt like just turning it off at halfway through, just because I just felt like it just too many things. I'm not with it. I lost what's happening here. I shouldn't feel stupid watching this episode, and I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on at times. And every time with like things like, oh, Wayne would be like, guy, what are you guys talking about? I felt like, thank you, right? And they started explaining about the drugs, but I just felt like they did really. I don't know what happened. Like, did they have, a night of partying? Something went wrong. It just, that episode did not bring it for me.
Okay.
Too much sniff that night.
Too much sniff. Yeah. Sniff. All right. Compost from Victor. So I'm going to say this. the last 2 minutes of this episode saved it from a compost. And I don't give composts on this show lightly. I think I've only given the one for Fart Book, and that was a retroactive compost. This one here, sitting through it and watching it and even trying to pull clips for it, I'm trying to find like some of the funniest parts of it, and I really couldn't for the most part. But that the last scene saved it, and it brought, it tied up the whole season with a bow. Maybe I'm looking forward to the Rosie character and know what's coming, so maybe that helps. But it was a solid cliffhanger. Like, I mean, Wayne spent the whole season trying to find love, and then at the end he has it in triplicate. So now he's got to figure out how he's going to sort through this mess, because anyway, I give it a clearance. Because of that last scene, it saved it from a compost. So yeah, does this knock anybody's top 5? Matt, you'd be the only one, right? Do you want me to remind you?
No. I'll leave my top 5 as is, but I still think I stand by my rating. I just don't think it makes my top 5.
No. Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah, for me, this makes me rethink any other compost ratings that I've given previously, because I feel like this is the true compost, and do the others need to be upgraded to a clearance?
Or are you finally ready to do the right thing, Victor, and move Fart Book to a compost?
No. Fart Book will continue to be fresh for me. I thought that was brilliant. But this doesn't knock anybody off. In fact, it goes all the way down to the bottom. It becomes the anchor.
Wow. And for a season finale, I mean, maybe it's unfair to hold that to a higher standard, but you expect a season finale to be pretty, a better, one of the better episodes. And so for you to say that,
Well, season 1 finale was a fresh, if I recall
exactly.
correctly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So we got our ratings. Let's move on to listener comments. It's exciting because we got 2 more Apple reviews this week. So I want to, read them out here. The first one comes from Melbourne Jack. He titles his allegedly 5 stars. A wondrous Letterkenny podcast that is a great listen if you're a fan of the show. Texas Size 10-4 can confirm I've enjoyed every episode so far with fun banter, and as someone who has seen the show multiple times, it's good to hear a range of views on each episode. They also make sure attentions are paid to the details of references I miss as an Aussie, and that's what I appreciates about you all. If you want quality Letterkenny recap podcasts, then don't be so awkward, bud, and give it a listen. And if you don't like it, you can meet me at the end of the laneway. Don't come up the property. That's from Melbourne Jack. Holy crap, Melbourne Jack, that was amazing. Like you fit every single Letterkenny kind of meme in one review.
That was written better than the finale we just recapped.
Oh, Victor.
Well done. Oh, man. The next one is from Tony P510. 5 stars. I stumbled across the great Canadian show Letterkenny while rabbit holing on YouTube one night. I believe that's called spelunking. Anyway, I've watched the entire series and recently found the Produce Stand podcast. It's a great accompaniment to the show. Al, Tanya, Squirrely Matt, and Victor review each episode with humorous takes. My Friday morning commute is a lot more enjoyable these days. Thank you, Tony. When I read Tanya that review, she kind of got a little freaked out.
Oh, come on.
She was like, wait a minute, somebody's actually listening to, I think it kind of hit her.
She thought we just did this for the 4 of us.
Yeah, she thought, we're just doing this for the 4 of us,
Al,
right?
you put these online?
Yeah, somebody is listening to this on his morning commute. Come on. Yeah, so thank you, Tony. That was amazing. Thank you for taking time for doing that. Then we have some comments on Twitter. Can we get off the train references? A la Black Cars and Gino. That's from Miriam DeYoung.
Amen.
Miriam DeYoung, she's what she's referencing. She's also a listener of the Toronto Mike podcast, and Toronto Mike had Gino Vanelli on one of his episodes and interviewed Gino. And of course, Toronto Mike is always all about the nostalgia. So he was asking Gino a lot of questions about the song Black Cars, and Gino finally said, "Can we get off the black cars already?" And it was a funny moment. And so now Miriam is trying to make the same reference with the train talk. So there you go. That one I think is directed to Victor.
Yeah, I thought maybe Matt paid her off, but anyway.
Allegedly.
Next one. Introduced a friend to Letterkenny last night. She loved it. Letterkenny making the world funnier, one viewer at a time. That's from Beck, also a Toronto Mike listener and a friend who came over and listened to our podcast. Let's see here. Oh, Yogurt Talk 2020. Give your balls a tug. That's from our buddy Jason Cutler. I think he wants us to stop talking about yogurt.
Yogurt.
Our buddy Yogurt Gate ended this week, by the way.
Oh,
just for Jason. We've all settled that dispute in the Squirrely Matt household.
Weren't you finally allowed to have the good yogurt? But it was a couple of days expired.
Yeah.
That was a fair
That's not the point, Al.
That's awesome.
Our buddy Anthony from California. Not sure if it was Matt or Victor that said Letterkenny, but nice job. That was indeed Matt and a stroke of brilliance, Matt. Very well done. They've got to do it. They've got to make it happen. They have to, you know.
Well, I know he showed it out to McTierney and Kiso just in case they were ever thinking. Just remember where they heard it first.
And this is an email I got from Tim from Seattle. He threw out an idea that we should get a petition to get Jared Kiso to host Saturday Night Live. He posted on Facebook pages and got over 850 likes. He thinks it's got legs, so he asked us if we could spread the word. So yeah,
absolutely.
How fun would that be if we can get Jared Kiso hosting Saturday Night Live? Although what I found was a lot of commenters on Facebook who are Letterkenny fans are not SNL fans, but which is weird. That would be fun.
Now, fair enough. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the little private chat that you've set up as well.
Oh, we got a few new members in the last week. Yeah.
I think we've got over 16 people now. So if anyone's interested in joining, we're our private banter. Less than scientific conversations that, if not careful, may become confrontations. But that said, we're having some fun on there. And I put out a little question. I think it was just earlier today, actually, around what drove you to Letterkenny. And there is some general stuff. We got Je suis fatigué, who said she loves the cold opens. A Redbeard, or our man out east, he said it's just fun TV. And then him and Dennis Guggen, along with a couple others, agreed they just love the small town aspect of it. And it's something about small town loyalty that draws people to this show. And I think that's a pretty common trend. Anyone I know who likes this just loves that aspect of it. And I think, Al, you even chimed in and added a couple other references to Corner Gas. There was some conversation about Trailer Park Boys there as well. All small town, blue collar kind of stuff. And
Schitt's Creek now as well.
Schitt's Creek now, yeah. There's just a lot of small town love out there, and people just thrive on it, and it's so good to see.
Did you see that the motel from Schitt's Creek is up for sale?
I did.
Yeah. You guys want to go in and have these?
Brilliant.
It's funny because I feel like Letterkenny is kind of or I don't know if it's creating this or whether it was always there, but I'm starting to notice it. But there seems to be an appreciation outside of Canada for Canadian shows. I've seen people talking about, if you really like Letterkenny, you should check out I forget what some of the other shows were, like 19-2, that's the other Kiso cop show. But these are like people from outside of Canada appreciating Canadian content, which is hilarious because once again, Canadians do not appreciate their own TV shows. Yeah. Which is frustrating.
We're growing on it. We're growing on it. But you're right. But even like in the private chat there, S. Murphy jumped in and said, I'm not Canadian. I'm from Saratoga, New York. But there's something about Canadian comedies that crack me up. I'm a big fan of Trailer Park Boys too.
Yeah, for sure. So there seems to be either a growing appreciation or maybe it was always there, and I'm just noticing it now because of this little podcast that we're doing here. Let's any final remarks there, Matt?
You know what? As we wrap up season 2, I'm just going to take a quick second to get a little soft. First off, I'm going to say I appreciate the three of you. I mean, this is a strange.
Wait a minute, you're not telling us goodbye, are you?
No, goodbye. But I mean, we're two seasons into this. This is fun, man. Yeah. Like I don't know if we would have done this if this wasn't COVID. I would like to think that we would have, but we're in COVID life right now. And I know the world's all treating this shit differently. Not saying who's right and who's wrong. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Every country's dealing with their own way. In Toronto and Canada, we're basically been in lockdown since March. So this is something me personally, I enjoy every week. I look forward to getting together with the three of you guys. Anyone out there listening and even giving us a minute of time each week, we appreciate you. And this is a lot of fun. And I hope we can keep doing it. And I hope our viewers, our listeners continue to join in and to continue to pay attention. Just give us a minute of time. We're having a good time, and I hope it's coming through. So thank you to everyone. We definitely appreciate all of you.
I second that for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I'd raise a glass to that.
Yeah. Tanya.
And tap it twice.
Yeah, there you go. Tanya, any final remarks?
I'm all teary after that. No, I don't have much to say tonight. I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna pass the torch.
Victor?
No, not much to say about this episode. I hope that next time we chat, I have some positive updates about Pumpkin.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know how it's all going to go, but that's kind of what's on my mind right now. I hope I'm looking forward to the next episode, which is, I think, a special.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for now.
Okay. I've got three news items that I want to talk about. First of all, we may have found our first sponsor and it'll start up in season 3. I won't give up the ghost just yet. We're just ironing out some final details about who that person is that's going to partner with us for season 3. But I'm excited about it. So looking forward to that. Also, as Victor mentioned, next episode, we'll be talking about the St. Patrick's Day episode. But then after that, we've got Dean Giles. He's coming back to do a season 2 recap like he did with us for season 1. So that was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. He's already accepted my invite. And then, so we'll be talking about St. Perfect's Day, which is the title of the next episode. So I'm going to play us out now. I got to find, where the hell is here we go. Play us out with the song Pressure, aka Wayne's in Love song from this episode.
You're like good water pressure in a cold, rainy summer.
And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we recap and review the Letterkenny St. Patrick's Day special titled St. Perfect's Day. Please rate us on iTunes. If you like the show, follow us on Twitter at ProduceStandPod. We also invite you to visit our website, theproducestandpod.com, for other episode recaps and a list of our favorite episodes. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to invent new ways to hoover schneef. From all of us at the Produce Stand, good night.